Hello, dear friend. You're watching the 2022 astrology prediction for people who have their sun or rising sign in Aquarius. In this video, you will learn how the most important events during 2022 will affect your sign. We are going to talk about Venus retrograde. This is how we start the year. For around 1 month, Venus will be retrograde. Then at the end of the year, Mars is going to be retrograde for 2 months, so pretty significant shifts at the beginning and the end of the year. We are also going to discuss the regular Mercury retrograde cycles and how they can affect you. And keep in mind, Mercury will be retrograde in Aquarius, so that is important. Also, we'll talk about the lunar nodes because they will show you a potential new direction or a new door that can open for you, and also an area of potential growth and prosperity. We'll also discuss the Jupiter shifts. Jupiter is moving through signs and then also having interesting aspects. So you will learn how you can benefit and what are the best areas you can focus on. We'll also discuss Saturn and the outer planets and in which cases those are especially important for you. And before we dive deeper, I also want to invite you to join MarStars membership, which is our new astrology platform with regular astrology sessions each month, a Q&A session, plus access to many courses on foundational astrology, karmic astrology, and so many other things, including access to upcoming courses. So we have a free trial. You have nothing to lose. You can join us and see how you like it. Check the links below or go to marstars.net. And with that being said, let's move to the first event of the year, which is Venus being retrograde in your 12th house. This will be the case basically during the whole January. And Venus being retrograde in 12th house can bring some old emotions, something that maybe you have thought you have forgotten about. Maybe you might have been confused that you have healed this or you are over this. If that's not really true, Venus retrograde in 12th house can kind of like bring those emotions or even potential traumas or memories to the surface so that now you can transform them and really heal them. So it's a very retrospective period for you, especially when it comes to your emotions and feelings and relationships. And the most important is processing the past. Looking backwards and being honest with yourself. Are there things that you want to change? Are there things that need to be transformed, especially when it comes to love and emotions? So this is kind of like the most important theme for January. Then during the last 2 months of the year, Mars will be retrograde in a pretty friendly position for you. So it may not be such a problematic thing, but of course we need to be prepared. Mars is retrograde once in 2 years. So again, this is something more special. And Mars being retrograde in your 5th house also may trigger some emotional stuff when it comes to falling in love or the type of people you are attracted to. This may also has to do with creativity or your kids or just how much joy you allow yourself to experience. And if there are things which are not okay, this is the time to fix them. This is the time for improvements. And also for restarting things. If you have had a hobby that you are passionate about, now is the time to go back and practice again. If you have something unfinished with love and romantic partners, you might either put the end or clarify things, or sometimes even restart old relationships. Even when it comes to children, you might want to process things differently. And you may notice that you are putting a lot of attention and your energy goes into this area because Mars will spend quite a long time in this house. So this will become something quite important during the whole year for you. And we need to mention also that when Mars is in Gemini, there will be a trine with Aquarius. So this helps with some kind of personal transformations, with improving things that concern you, and overall making positive changes. Yes, this is a time when things are usually slower and it's not so easy to, go straight and ahead and move forward. It's a more retrospective time again, but for you it may have an especially positive influence. Next, let's talk about the lunar nodes. Those are the indications which may also show you where you can grow, where it would be nice to focus on, and also which are the things that should not be top priorities. And during 2022 and even after that, the North Node will be in your 4th house. So this is a great time for focusing on your family and your home. Whether you want to buy a new home, purchase properties, or invest in properties, or settle down, or start a family, or just focus on nurturing and connecting with your family, those are all possible options and they are nice options for you. On the other side, the South Node will transit your 10th house. So you shouldn't care that much about work and social activities and business. And of course, for most of us, this still needs to be something we do. I mean, we cannot always have the luxury to stop working or something. But what I mean here is that you should not put this as your top priority. Focus more on the family and the personal stuff, and of course on finding the balance between those two important areas, home and work. And there will be one very special aspect around the middle of the summer, July, August. The North Node will be in conjunction with Uranus in your 4th house, which means that you may expect something unexpected when it comes to your home, family situation, or properties. Very often this change can be positive. For example, you want to relocate or you want to change the place where you live, or you just want to make some renovations. Of course, that would be something positive and nice, but sometimes it may come as an unexpected event. For example, suddenly you need to move out because the owners want to do something else with the property, for example. Or there might be other scenarios, but just know that you need to be open for changes when it comes to home and family. And with Uranus, it may come as a shock sometimes, but because the North Node is also there, this is a positive shift. Even if it feels stressful at the time, it will allow you to grow and to move forward. So it's a nice thing. Next, we are going to talk about Jupiter, the great benefactor, the planet which can bring you success and prosperity. And Jupiter is pretty active during 2022. It will be in Pisces between January and April, and then again November, December. During those two time frames, Jupiter is in your 2nd house, which is especially beneficial for financial stuff. Having more resources or increasing your income or having a new source of income or just feeling happier with this area of your life. But keep in mind that you may also feel as happy and as motivated to spend as well. So you need to be mindful. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes we just want to enjoy purchasing and buying things, and that's totally fine. But keep in mind that sometimes this can be a little bit exaggerated as a desire. But overall, it's a quite nice influence for your financial situation. And also when it comes to your own energy, when it comes to managing all kinds of resources as well. During the rest of the year, which is between May and October, Jupiter will be in your third house. And this is especially beneficial for communication, for some kind of intellectual projects, for learning new things and traveling and having a bigger circle, expanding the circle of friendships. So through communication, through other people, through friends, you can also be more successful, and also knowledge and information are very important during this part of the year. Now let's talk about the aspects that Jupiter is having with the slower planets, and they are all pretty positive. The first one is during February. Jupiter from second house will have a positive aspect with Uranus in your fourth house, which is very beneficial for all kinds of changes in your material life. Investments, buying properties, or having more stability, but also something can change and something surprising and something new may show up. So really think about your resources and the properties and the home situation and how you can expand this. The other nice aspect is during April. It's a conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune, again in your second house. And this is also potentially very beneficial for your income, for the resources you have. But with Neptune, we always need to be prepared, because it's possible that you may also overspend, or you may have some kind of exaggerated or unrealistic idea. So keep your positivity and overall be prepared for something nice, but also keep a little bit of the critical thinking and analytical mind. And just make sure that you are clear, that you are grounded, and you are not just, flying around and imagining things which are not really possible, or having some kind of illusions. Because from that place, sometimes we can make bad financial decisions. So overall, I expect this aspect to be very nice and inspirational, and it can bring you incredible financial rewards and benefits, but just keep a little bit of more attention. And the last of those aspects is during May, and it will be between Jupiter again in second and Pluto in your 12th house. Also very empowering aspect, which can bring you more energy even on a physical level. Also for your material resources, this can be especially beneficial for some kind of investments or having some kind of income, which may or may not be that official or obvious, but at the same time, it can be something meaningful that you can create. And you may also have intuitive ideas, or you may feel like you are guided. And I think that you should listen to this guidance. It can help you to also materialize things, not only related to money and financial stuff, but other things as well. So Jupiter is pretty friendly during this year. Next, we'll talk about eclipses. Eclipses are emphasizing the impact of the lunar nodes. So the same life areas are activated and triggered. There will be 4 eclipses during 2022. The first one during April, towards the end of the month, and it will be a solar eclipse in your 4th house. This is very important because this is the eclipse which triggers the North Node, and this is the time when you can do something which is important for your future. Whether it will be purchasing a new home, or just making radical shifts, or making a reassessment of this area. But whatever you decide, whatever you focus on, whatever you do, may have an impact and importance for your future. After that, during May, there is a lunar eclipse in 10th and 4th house, so it's more about finding the balance between work and family, and perhaps making some changes when it comes to your work or business projects. Then during October, we have the next solar eclipse, which will trigger the South Node this time and your 10th house. And this is the time when you can make also changes related to your career. And the focus there is more about either finishing something that you have started in the past, or letting go of something, or making some improvements. But again, it's more on things that have already been started, or even things that are supposed to end at this point. And the last eclipse will come during November, a lunar eclipse which triggers 4th and 10th house, with special options for you to make changes again related to your home. So the topic is balance between work and family, but with this lunar eclipse, you may have more options to change something more personal and more related to your family environment. Next, we are going to talk about Mercury retrograde. So there are 3 full cycles of Mercury retrograde plus 1 which is just beginning at the very end of the year. And the first of those cycles is the most important one for you because Mercury will be retrograde in Aquarius. This is happening during January. And this is the time when you just need to be more careful with all kinds of decisions, with communication, with the actions that you are taking. Just slow down. It's a great time for retrospection and for some self-analysis. Towards the end of this cycle, Mercury is moving to your 12th house, which can make you even more retrospective and can help you to focus on the past and perhaps see things from a different point of view. The next Mercury retrograde is during May, and it will be in your 5th and 4th house. So this time the focus will be more on creative projects or children, or also your love life, and then family, home, and properties. You need to be more mindful and careful with those areas of your life during this particular time frame. And then there is one more full Mercury retrograde cycle during September, which will trigger 9th and 8th house. So some kind of reassessment of your long-term goals, of your perspective about the future, plans about traveling may need to go through some kind of changes, and also investments and resources that you share with other people. Those are the areas that you need to either improve or fix, and also avoid taking some important decisions which are brand new, like starting a brand new project which you want to be permanent. And the very last cycle is just beginning on the 29th of December, and it's again about retrospection and self-analysis. Next, we are going to talk about Saturn, which is actually one of the most important things for you. First of all, this is your old ruler, so it is important for you. What is the status of Saturn and what is happening with this Saturn? The other reason is that currently Saturn is in Aquarius, so it will affect you and your personality and your actions and your behavior. And it's time to grow up. It's time to be more responsible and focus more on being grounded and practical. Especially important is if your ascendant is between the 20, or sun of course, is between the 12th and the 26th degree of Aquarius. In this case, Saturn will have a conjunction with it, and that's very important. This means that you really need to be organized and practical and also more grounded. Saturn is, I think has a pretty sometimes negative reputation, but keep in mind that this is the planet that also helps with materialization. Whatever you want to materialize, whatever you want to put into an actual form, you need Saturn support to do that. So if you are respectful and you're honoring what Saturn wants from you, you can actually succeed in materializing your goals and plans and really doing many, many things. So Saturn can also help you a lot. It really depends on your attitude and how you look at this. The other planet which is also very important for you is Uranus, which is the other ruler of your sign, the modern one. And Uranus is in Taurus, a sign which has a square with Aquarius. So if your sun or rising sign is between the 11th and the 19th degree, plus minus 1-2 degrees, Uranus will square it. And those are times of very big transformations. Drastic shifts, something new may come, something else may end. And this is the time also to allow yourself to experience more freedom, to open your mind for new perspectives. This is one of the best aspects for learning astrology or anything else which is kind of different from, traditional knowledge. And also Uranus being in your fourth house may also bring you changes related to your home, the place where you live, and also your family. Neptune will be in Pisces between the 21st and the 26th degree. And there isn't a major aspect between Aquarius and Pisces, but this might be important if the cusp of your second house is between those degrees. And if that's the case, you need to be extra careful with financial decisions, with your resources, with all kinds of material things. And even when it comes to your own energy, sometimes Neptune can have like a draining influence, especially if you are not used to navigate this energy. You may either feel more sleepy or distracted or not so much in contact with reality. So this is a specific case. It won't be relevant to everyone, but if Neptune is crossing the cusp of your second house, or sometimes even if Neptune makes major aspects with other planets in your chart while it's in your second house, it may still have this influence of energy issues or even financial issues. But also know that Neptune may bring lots of money. So Neptune can bring you easy money, money that you didn't need to work extra hard for. It's not a promise, of course, but sometimes it happens. So you need to be very mindful, prepare and open for some kind of miracles, but also keep your connection with the material world at least a little bit so that things are, happening in a healthier way for you. And finally, we have Pluto, which is in Capricorn, in your 12th house between 26th and 29th degree. Again, check the cusp of your 12th house. And this is a very deep influence. It's really working on your subconscious mind, again, processing the past. And it may not be that obvious what's happening actually. But in some cases, this can bring a very deep internal shift. The external changes may not be obvious yet, but keep in mind that in a few years, not so far ahead, Pluto is moving into Aquarius. Pluto is actually in the last few degrees right now. So all of those transformations will be showing up eventually and will come to the surface. But now you're more in this preparational, inner transformational phase. So this is what you can expect during 2022. Many retrogrades, shifts coming from the lunar nodes, Jupiter being very active. So again, it really depends on how we use this energy. And I think that we can make some really important reassessments during 2022. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful 2022, and I'll see you soon. Don't forget to sign up for your free trial for MarStars membership. It will give you access to all of my courses, including the natal astrology course. So it includes everything you need to know about foundational astrology and how you can interpret signs, planets, and aspects and houses. So we have more than 50 hours of lessons here, which will teach you everything you need to know about natal astrology. We also have karmic astrology course, which is a pretty extensive one and will help you to do more advanced readings. On top of that, you also receive access to live webinars. Each month, we are having a special webinar on an astrology topic and another one, which is a Q&A session. So you can come and ask all of the questions you have, which are astrology related. You get access to all of the pre-recorded courses, plus the future ones. And there are other surprises like monthly horoscopes. We have our community and also other spiritual courses and energy practices and much more in the future. So make sure to check the link below or go to MarStars.net and sign up for your free trial.